All right, so this is the piece that I made. So I put some wooden blocks on the floor, just kept stacking them until I had the height that I wanted. I was where I was at with where I wanted to be with the radiator, had a little bit of spacing between the radiator and the shroud. And then I measured, and what I came up with is I needed 4 3/8 inches from the top to the bottom right here. And now I added a little bit of space, 1/8 of an inch or so, into that dimension. So when I measured it, it was 4 1/4. I went to 4 3/8. And the reason for that is when I mount the radiator, it's got these tabs on the bottom. So I measured across the distance across from the outside to the outside on the tabs, and that's how wide I have this part right here. So that ended up being 20 inches. And then the ears are about 1 inch, but you'll notice that there is an angle to them. So real quick here, what I'm going to do is when I get ready to mount the radiator will drop down, and I went to the local tractor supply place, Fleet Farm, and I bought 2 of these. So what's going to happen, I'll drill a hole in here. These will take a 3/8 bolt. So I'll drill a 3/8 hole. This will sit in place like that. And then I'll drill, this is about a 5/8 diameter here. So I'll drill that through the mounting tab. The radiator will drop down, and I'll trim part of this off. I only need 1/8 of an inch. That's the thickness of the tab on the radiator. So I'll drill a hole in the tab on the radiator will drop down over, and the 3/8 bolt will come up through here, put a washer on it, and then I'll have a little bit, this is a firmer rubber, but I'll have a little bit of a rubber bumper between the mounting bracket, because that mounts directly to the frame, just bolts to the frame, and the radiator. So I've used these a few times before when I've done some custom motorcycle stuff, and they work out really nice. So what they are is actually a dust cover. So they're made by Pioneer, and they have them in different sizes, and they're a dust plug for use with 1/4 inch coupler. I think this is for hydraulic stuff. So when you unplug something hydraulic wise on the farm, you can plug these in or push these in, and it keeps stuff clean. When they come out of the package, they look like that. They've got that little strap on them so that you don't lose them when you're using them. You can clip that on your line or your fitting, and then this goes up and plugs in. So like I said, I found these a few years ago. I've used them before. They come in different sizes, different diameters. This one, 1/4 inch coupler, and that hole on the back, 3/8 bolt, fits in there really, really nice. All right, so like I said, I have an angle bent on the end of this bracket. So when I did the bend here, I had to bend an angle on that. So the reason for that is that the frame angles up here. So this isn't perfectly straight. So when I brought this up and put it into place, I had to make sure that it was going to sit right. If I would have bent it straight, it would have kicked the front of the bracket forward, and the radiator would have would have been in there at an angle. So by putting that same bend, that same angle, it sits nice and straight and square to the frame. To get that angle, I just used a bevel tool, and I held that up against the frame, and then I used a level, and I just went ahead and bent the handle of the bevel frame until I was level, and pulled that off, tightened it up, and then that gave me the angle that I needed. So then all you got to do is just make sure you don't bend it in the wrong direction. So the first one, of course, you can do, and then you got to test it and see which side you're going to have to be on. But you got to make sure that when you put the bend in this way, and then this bend is going the right direction, either right or left. So took a little bit of thinking. I got it on one shot. It worked out. So to do that bending, I'll show you real quick how I do that.